First line is gonna go to Afifa.
あと、サウルスは兄の手から花を取って口に入れた。Anatosaurus took a flower from Annie's hand
Yep,
and
that is.
put it in its mouth.
Yes. Perfect. That's exactly what it says. Nice. And Grayson is also here. Nice. I'll let them have a second to pop in. Okay, so the creature puts the flower into its mouth, and the next line goes to Zappic.
そして、もっと将来、どうでもいいような仕草を知っている。
Do you know what shigusa means?
It's gesture.
It is a gesture. It's some kind of symbol that has an implied meaning, right? Something you physically do with your body. For example, waving your hand is a shigusa that means hello or goodbye. So here we have something doing a gesture. Who's doing the gesture, do you think? そして、もっとちょうだいと、でも言うような仕草をしてる. This is like a contextual thing.
Yeah, is it the dinosaur?
You're right. The dinosaur is doing a symbol. Now, the symbol they're doing is being described with the na-adjective yo, which means like. So she's not saying for sure that the dinosaur is saying this. Instead, we're saying it seems like the dinosaur is trying to say something with some kind of body movement it's doing. And that's also where we have the e. It's trying to say the statement もうちょうだい. What does that mean?
もっと将来。It isn't once more, no.
Close. Chodai means more, like more food. So motto chodai means I'd like to have more of something to eat normally. Chodai doesn't have to be used with food, but it's most commonly used with food from some kind of like childlike character asking for nummy nums. So this guy takes some flowers from Hannah's line and is like, give me more, give me more. You know, and she says, もうないよ. Nope, I don't got any more food. And Grayson, next line goes to you.
Anatosaurus wa kanashiso na koe o ageta. So whatever dinosaur that is, it's the wa. I'm pretty sure that was raising or
it is
opening?
To raise. You raise your koi. What is a koi?
I feel like it was like the voice. Raise your voice.
Yes, raise your voice. So the dinosaur says something. What is and it's describing that as a kanashisona voice.
Kanashisona. I guess like a loud voice? Like a big voice?
That's a good guess. You're just randomly guessing words. So kanashi, kanashi is an e adjective that means sad. Kanashi. And so is a lot like yo that we just saw earlier, yona. They're both not adjectives that are used to describe something that looks like something. The difference is what kind of thing they're doing, right? Like yo is describing like an action, right? It's saying, please give me more. Well, so is describing more like the feelings or the vibe something gives off. So something looks good or looks yummy, or in this case, looks sad, right? We're basically taking an adjective and describing something versus like taking a whole phrase. So you wouldn't use so with a whole phrase, And you wouldn't use yo with just like an adjective. So kanashi yo na would not be said. So that's kind of like what the difference is. So it lets out a sad little cry, being like, why is there no more nummy nums for me? And then the next line is going to go to Afifa.
この上に行けばもっとあるわ。私、取ってきてあげる。Over the hill. If you go over the hill, there'll be more.
Mm.
And I'll 取ってきて.
Mm.
I'll give you more.
Yep. And then the kite here, you know what that means?
To come.
To come. So I'm going to go and come back, is what she's saying. So, got our loop verb. And how about ageru?
Again. It can also
Ageru.
be to raise.
What'd you say?
Can it be to raise and to give?
Yes, to give, yes. So I guess the tote is to take. So I'm going to go over and get some to give to you. Next paragraph is going to go to Zapik.
Let's see. 兄はウォーカーを駆け上がった。後ろから、ドシンドシンとアナトサウルスがついていく。The Annie ran up the hill.
Yep.
From behind, there's this sound effect, don don, doshon. From the dinosaur following.
Exactly. Perfect. Good job. 一体どうなってるんだ? What on earth is happening right here? And the next line goes to Grayson.
ジャックは木を取り直して、巣を調べてみることにした。Okay, so we have Jack, we have a heart.
No heart here. Do you know what ki means?
No. Spirit then?
It is your spirit, yes. It is used basically in three kind of ways when we're translating spirit. It's either like your kind of like health, like you're genki, right? You're in good health type of idea. Or it's kind of used like your thought processes toward things. Like you intend to do something or you care about people. You're putting your awareness towards something, right? Or it's used in a like literal spirit kind of way, like kuki, talking about the literal air around you. In this context, it's talking about your thought processes. Here, talking about rationality. Ki o toru is a specific phrase, specifically tori naosu, I guess. Do you know what naosu means? I'll start with that first.
No.
Naosu is to fix something. So he's basically bringing his thought processes back to reality. So he was like, what is happening right here? Totally dumbfounded, jaw on the floor, watching as his little sister is talking to dinosaurs. But he shakes himself and goes, okay, I'm back to business, you know. He's shaking himself back to how he should do it. So he's taken his thought process back to how it should be before, is like the literal way to translate it. And then what does he do once he comes back to sanity?
Do
you know what a su is?
I feel like we've had this word before. I just don't remember.
We have had this word. So an example of something that's a su, that's knotted in this context, is a spider web. This is a kind of nest. Kumonosu. So right here, we're talking about the dinosaurs. So instead, we picture something probably more like a bird nest type of idea. So he decides to do something to the Sioux. 調べてみることにした. A lot of stuff being built on over there. What do you know from that? 調べてみることにした.
I think shita means underneath, but that might be a
so
completely
do you see how
different
there's a
shita.
period right here?
Yeah,
What does that tell you?
that's the end of the phrase.
Tells
So
you
there's
it's
probably
the
gonna need
end
to
of
be
the
a verb
sentence.
there.
Exactly. So it
Yeah.
means there must be a verb here. You can't not have a verb
Yeah.
here. The options are verb, right, or adjective, which theoretically is a
Yeah.
verb. Those are your only two options. So because of that, shita, meaning below, is not a possible option to pick here because shita, below, is a noun. So that's not possible.
Okay.
So instead, it must be the verb shita from suru. You know what suru means? Like benkyou suru.
To do?
To do, exactly.
To do?
So this must be to do because it occurs at the end of the sentence. So we have doing. So you have not learned this grammar point. This is a harder grammar point. Ni suru. Have you learned ni naru though? Ni naru, like neko ni natta.
No. I think naru was like to become, I think.
It is
but
to
I don't know
become,
much
exactly. Neko ni natta means to become a cat. Neko is just an easy
okay.
cat word. Otona ni natta is something you're more likely to hear, narimashita. Naru means to become. So shiru can be used this exact same way. Shita, suru. So rather than saying ni natta, you can use ni suru when you are saying you made this happen. Minaru insinuates the subject did not put effort into making this outcome happen. So, for example, otona ni naru, to become an adult, is a natural process, right? The kid did not decide, well, I'm ready to the age, I'm going to go put in my grow-up coordinates in or whatever, or eat the right medicine for it. You just get better as it happens. You can also use naru if someone else made something happen to you, right? But suru means that you, the subject of the sentence, put effort into making this happen. So this means Jack decided he was going to make this thing happen, is what that means. He decided to do this. Which was, basically, he decided to shiraberu. You know what shiraberu means?
No.
Shiraberu is to do research, basically. To investigate. It is more commonly used, meaning like in an educational kind of way, like to look up something at a library. But here he's using it like literally investigating the nests. So it basically says he decided he was going to go investigate the nest. And he's like, I'm going to do this for sure. I brought myself to reality. There's no doubt about it. And then he decided to add a miru here. You know what temiru means?
Is it to watch?
That is a really good guess because miru does mean to see / look at. However, this is actually referring to looking at the outcome of the thing that you are doing. Because this is most commonly translated into English as to try. But it is used when he's not sure what the outcome of his research is going to look at. So he wants to do the research and see the outcome, but it's not actually literally like to look at something. There's a insinuation that the outcome has some kind of probability used with it. So so it's more commonly translated as a try. So he decided he was going to go try to look at the nest. What he's going to get from that, well, maybe he'll know how many eggs there are. Maybe he'll figure out there's nothing in the nest. Maybe he'll find another dinosaur in the nest. You know, there's a lot of possible outcomes from here, and he's interested in the outcome that could come out here. So then we use miru as our try selection. So look. That's why they use the look for there, but it's not like literally to look at something. It's the focusing on the outcome as far as like the meaning embedded in it. So that's literally just what it says. Su o shirabete miru, to decide that he's going to go look at the Sioux. Now, koto. Do you know what koto means?
No.
Koto means things. And it's used, things. For example, I have some things to do on Saturday. I have things to do on Saturday. It is not like I have a bunch of things in my house. It's not that things. It is used to refer to events type of idea or actions, that there is either multiple of those actions or you're talking about the idea of that action in itself. Like the act of killing is bad would be korosu koto wa warui desu. That's basically what that would mean. So this is just used when we're just talking about it in general. So he's basically, it's a little bit odd he's using koto here, but he's basically saying he wants to do like researching here in general about the things. You could also use no instead, which would then mean he's specifically talking about one specific instance of doing the research. So that would be like killing the Pope is bad. Would be Pope wo korusu no wa dame desu. Like it's you're just making it more specific if you use no versus koto. And it's used most commonly when you have like a sentence that you want to describe with a verb. And you have to say either we're talking about the sentence specifically or we're talking about the sentence in general. So we're saying in general, he has decided he wanted to investigate the nest rather than he specifically wanted to investigate just this specific nest right in front of him at this moment. So in this specific sentence, it could easily go, they could have used no and it would have been just as good because it would have just meant he wants to look at the one nest right in front of him. But here, maybe he's going to look at the nest in front of him, maybe the one on the right. There's a little bit more freedom in which nest he's going to look at. He doesn't have to look at the one right next, the closest to him. So that was a tangent. But basically, this is just like people, when you're learning it, will just say that's like there so that this and this can touch each other. So you could always ignore koto if you want. It's just for building purposes. Why is it there? Zapik, next line is for you.
アナトサウルスの巣は地面に土を盛り上げ、真ん中を丸く掘り下げて作ってある。As for the dinosaur's nest, there is a pile of dirt gathering on the ground.
Yep.
And in the center of that, 丸く掘り下げて。
はい。How do you think we're going to make a big mound of dirt? How are we going to make this into a Sioux? What would be like your guess? What would be something you would do?
Oh, we have to
like a nest. Something that is round. You're right. You would dig out the top. You'd make a round hole inside of it. Hori is the verb horu, which means to dig.
I see.
And I'm not sure exactly what the sageru is. Hori, sageru. Okay, so sageru is just downwards. So we're just specifying for whatever reason the hole is in a downward location versus like theoretically it could have a hole like this. That's theoretically possible, right? They could have piled it up and dug a hole and make a little tunnel like that, like a rabbit does. So they wanted to specify that it's a hole from the top going downwards, right, in the mannaka, rather than a hole in the middle like this. So that's why the sageru is in there. Do you know what the tsukutte aru is telling us?
Tsukutte is to make, so it has been made like that?
It has been made like that. Perfect. Yep. That's a perfect way to translate that. It has been made like that. Good job, because most people don't know aru, how that works in a te aru. Because it's basically passive form, but you don't care about who did it. This sentence is going to go to Grayson.
卵から出て、もうその外へは移動して、外、oh, yeah, いる赤ちゃん、恐竜もいる。Okay. Okay. I mean, at the end we have something about the.
Okay, so why don't you start with the first comma here, which is tamago kara dete. And you can use it as a subject.
It exits.
From what?
From whatever the tamago is.
Tamago means egg. The exit from the egg.
Okay.
So, just as a random reminder, exit's not wrong, but dete plus dedu literally means to appear. So it says to appear out of the egg. It's not wrong, and exit's a great way to translate it. I just pointed that out just so that it makes it easier later on with other sentences with it. Mm-hmm. And then we say 恐竜もいる. That's our next verb.
The dinosaur or the baby dinosaur
right.
exists.
赤ちゃん恐竜もいる. Yep, there also are existing baby dinosaurs. Now we have more information about these dinosaurs. Not only are they dinosaur, they're also baby, and they are もう巣の外へは言い出している. Sorry. 這い出している. Sorry, 言い出している has no meaning. So it must be はい. So this 出す is the same as 出る. Right? 出る 出す. What does 出す mean?
It appears.
To appear. So it's appearing in a location. What location is the baby's appearing in? もう巣の外.
Outside of the nest.
You're right. The babies are appearing outside of the nest. So not only are some babies already outside of their eggs, some are even outside of the nest. Absolutely horrifying. This hai here is the hai from hao, which means to crawl, because these are babies. So the baby dinosaurs are crawling out to the outside location of the nest. So by using appear, it just makes it easier to know the e particle is telling you where they're appearing at, right? They came out of the nest, but they're coming out here to the outside. If you have exit, then sometimes you get confused, I find. I found in my childhood when I was 5 years ago that I would be confused about what is the e particle mark when you're using dedu? Is that where you're leaving from? But it's where you're appearing at. Okay. And the next line here goes to Afifa. Wait, actually, I think it's Grayson. Wait, who just... Oh, no, but it is Afifa.
I just read.
Yeah. Cool. Afifa.
それにしても、他の母さん恐竜はどこへ行っちゃったんだろう。
Do you know what mall means?
And
It doesn't mean and, but sometimes it's translated as also. It means even. So it says even with that being done, which is basically used to mean however. Even with that being done. It's a literal meaning.
The other dinosaur. Where did it go?
Yes, where is it? Where has it gone off to? Do you know what daro means?
It means you're like wondering.
You're right. He is wondering. I wonder where the other mommy dinosaurs went. We only saw the one mommy dinosaur and it went off to follow Annie. Next line goes to Zapik.
ジャッキはリュックから恐竜図鑑を取り出してアナトサウルスのページを読んだ。Jack pulls out the dinosaur picture book from the backpack and opens the page to the Anatosaurus and reads.
Perfect. Nice. And then we have the text from the book. This first line here is going to go to Grayson.
アナトサウルスは何かの親が一緒に子育てをする。So this dinosaur
Kosodaterus.
I mean, the ko is child. I don't know what the soda.
That is to raise. As a noun. So, kosodate means raising children. Suru is to do. So do the act of raising children. In what way?
Together.
Together with what?
Oya is parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about kumi.
Kumi means group.
Okay.
And nan is referring to a number. So nangumika means a whole bunch of groups of oyakos.
A group of parents.
What does ko mean?
Child?
So when you add parent and child together, that means family. Basically, it means parent and child.
Okay.
So we have several groups of mom, dad, baby. And these mom, dad, babies are ishoni, are all together doing what?
Raising children.
Exactly. So we got a whole bunch of family units all together raising the children together. And the next line is going to go to Afifa.
一二頭の母親が巣を守り、その間に他の母親が餌を取りに行く。What's tall?
Tall is a counter for big animals. Like sheets from 2 sheets of paper. You don't say 2 paper, please. Can I have 2 pieces of paper? 2 sheets of paper? So ich ni to means 1 to 2 large animals. Do you know what mamori means? Sorry, what did you say?
Are they protecting the nest?
They are. How many are protecting the nest?
1 or 2.
1 or 2 what?
Big animals.
What kind of, which one of the big animals? Is it the dads, the moms, the children?
The moms.
You're right, the mommy parents. 1 or 2 of the mommy parents are watching the babies. And then sono aida, that's just probably hard. Do you know what aida means?
At that time?
Yeah, Perfect. Yes, at that time.
At that time, the other mother brought food.
Yep, to go get food. Perfect. And Japanese pluralization is not specified, right? So probably mothers would be the better way to translate it in this specific context, since we got the nan kumika, giving an insinuation of more than two families. The till about here is gonna go to Zapik.
ということは、他の母親たちも近くにいるっていうことだ。お兄ちゃんね、見て。That is to say, the other moms too must be close.
Yep, it must also be here, near here.
Brother, look here.
Yep, perfect. And the next line is also long, so I'm going to give that to Zapik as well.
見ると、アナタサウルスはすっかり兄に打ちときて、木蓮の食べさせてもらっていた。
Uchitokeru means like to have your heart opened out to somebody.
Okay. So, as you sing that direction, the dinosaur is completely has completely opened up his heart to Annie, I suppose.
Totally at ease. He's like, I love you, Annie.
Yeah.
Fully trusting her.
Mm. させてもらっていた。
Do you know what aseru means? That's that conjugation.
No, I don't know that.
This is called causative form. This is used when either somebody's allowing somebody to do something or making somebody do it. In this specific context with a moral, I personally would translate it as to make. So this dinosaur is making somebody receive. So with the moral, he's making Annie feed him the flowers, and he's receiving that from her. That's what it's saying. The particles get kind of confusing with moral added to it. Next line goes to Afifa.
これもいい恐竜ね。兄がはしゃいでいた。This is also a good dinosaur. And he said,
yep, in a hashaide kind of way, which is like in like really high spirits, basically. He's like, "Ooh, aren't you a good little dinosaur?" Grayson, next line goes to you. Grayson, 聞こえない。いいか。
すると、突然、あなた、サウルスが、ブを、ボと、
声声。
what?
Oh, maybe you were over here. I just heard you already say boo.
Yeah, I was a little stuck. I think it's boto.
Yeah. It says boo, 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 boo. It's like a honking noise. Boo. Boo. I guess it is boo. Boo to.
と、声、声を上げた。Um, I think, yeah, the dinosaur makes this noise, it raises its voice.
Yeah, it makes that noise. Hoidu is like to bark, basically, to howl, that kind of idea. And the next line is going to go to Afifa again.
兄は驚いて地面に伏せた。驚いて to be excited?
Kind of, but no, it's not good. Bad excitement. It is to be frightened, scared. And after she was scared, what did she do?
I don't know.
She does something to the G-men. Do you know what G-men means?
G is like the ground.
It is the ground, and men means surface. For example, ga-men is the screen, like a computer screen. So G-men is the surface of the ground, and to that ground she fuserus, which basically means to have your face pointed toward it, specifically like toward the ground normally. So my guess is that maybe she like ducked like this type of idea. But this could easily also mean somehow she full on is on the ground, face planting. Both are possible. I picture this because that just seems more likely than her suddenly face planting on the ground, just because that'd be a weird thing to happen. And Zepik, next line is for you.
ジャックは時間とリュックを放り投げて、丘の上の兄のところへ走った。ジャック throws the picture book in the rucksack or backpack.
Right.
But what is the holy part?
It's basically saying throw. So if you had nageru, that would insinuate you had like a ball and you're aiming and you're throwing it. So with the hori nageru, throw, we're just really much getting like the kind of like tossing, shoving kind of vibe being added to it by doubling the throwing words. Because horu is also to throw.
I see. And then he runs to the top of the hill.
It could be, yes, the top of the hill. Specifically, which hill?
Towards Annie.
Yes, towards Annie.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and I'm going to have us read this guy as our last part of the day. So I want to share again, but use the portion of the screen option so I can zoom in for you guys. Since I can't zoom in for myself. Okay, so, wow, that is a long line going to Zappic.
ところが、アノトサウルスは、左にはメモキレスに、州のある谷の方へ戻っていってしまった。At that time or place?
By the way.
Oh, by the way. モッキュレスに
So, me mo kurenai means like to pay no attention to something, and we're using zu rather than nai because it's in the middle of a sentence. Zu basically allows you to have a negative like verb in the sentence as like a adverb basically, rather than ending the sentence with it. So we could have said like futari ni wa me mo kurenai, period. Would have been totally fine, but because they wanted to have like the and kind of just continuing on, they decided to do zuni. So in English, that's basically adding without. So without paying the two any mind, the dinosaur did what?
Towards the valley where the nest is,
Hi.
it returns.
Exactly. And are we happy or sad about this?
Sad.
Sad. I don't know why they're sad about it, but I guess it's because they paid them no mind, even though Annie said he's such a good dinosaur and loves us so much. Just totally abandoned them. Next line goes to Akifa.
なんだかとても慌てているようだ。なんだか somewhat somehow.
Yes, somehow. Perfect. Nandaka seems like in this context, but it says somehow or other. We get the vibes of. I guess it looks like is the yol.
It looks like it fits in really well.
What does awatete mean?
Is it to meet?
It is not. That's au, which can be awanai to not meet. Awasedu to like match, but awatedu is to be flustered, to be in a panic. So who was in a panic?
The dinosaur?
You're right, the dinosaur. Perfect. Yep, that was from the previous paragraph. Somehow it looks like the dinosaur was in a huge panic when it went running off. And the next line is going to go to Grayson.
どうして急にい、行っちゃったのかしらと兄が残念そうに言った。
はい。どうして急に行っちゃったのかしらと兄が残念そうに言った。So, ちゃった? Do you know what that means?
No.
This is the slurred version of te shimao, which we just saw shimao on the previous sentence. Oops. Right over here. Shimatta. Do you know what shimatta means?
Oh, I don't remember.
This was the, oh no, I don't like this.
Okay.
So Annie is sad that the creature did what? 急に言って。急に言って。Do you know what the verb iku means?
That's to go.
To go, perfect. And then we're describing the going with the adverb Q. Q means fast, like with no delay. So it went bye super fast. I'm not happy about that. And then we added a question word with it, which is どうして. Do you know what どうして means?
Why?
It is why in this context. Perfect. Why did it go over there? Do you know what kashira means?
No.
Do you know what daro means? We saw that earlier today.
Daro. No, I don't remember.
It basically means I wonder or probably. It's a vagueness. It's a vagueness modifier that basically adds vagueness to something. Kashira is the feminine version of it, so anybody can use daro, but a guy should not be using kashira unless the anime is making him gay or something. That's the only time you'll see a male character use that, when you get the really effeminate guy that are like, oh my god, girl power. Then he'll use kashira. Otherwise, so Jack's not gonna use kashira. He's gonna use daro. But daro in itself is gender neutral. So girls, totally fine to use daro. No problem. Guy, don't do that. Anyway, so Annie goes, oh my gosh, why did it go away? You know, very, very feminine tones for that. To shi ittad. What does ittad mean?
She said this.
She said this, perfect. And then we have soul. We actually saw this exact same grammar so earlier with a different adjective. I don't remember what the adjective was, but I do remember talking about it earlier. Do you know what the soul is doing? Just like this yo does?
Oh yeah, that was it's like this, but for
Exactly.
single words.
Exactly. For single words like adjectives. And in this case, zannen, I think, is a adverb. Zannen ni, zannen no. Yeah, I think it's an adverb. It sounds like an adverb. Then so so it seems like Annie is zannen. And in Japanese novels, you can't really make a statement about somebody unless you are the protagonist of the book. So because of that, you use a lot of seems words that are not as commonly used in English. So in this book, we just would have said, Annie said this zannenly. But in Japanese, we wanted to say, she said this as if she was zannen, because we're not in her head. The main character is Jack, not Annie. Zannen, do you happen to know what that means?
No.
Zannen means sad, basically. It means specifically like that's too bad. Like it's that feeling, like aww. That is what zannen is. The boo. That's zannen. So she said it in a very like disappointed tone of voice. Aw, why did it go bye-bye? And you see right here, she's very fuseru. Face straight on the ground. That is a really weird pose for her to go in.
She's so sad that the dinosaurs don't want to play with her.
No! full on the ground. That fits her personality so well. And that's where we're going to stop right after this picture. So I'm going to stop recording wherever that button is. Share. Stop share. La, 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 la. Things are somewhere